Welcome to the Sacred Window podcast. Here, we look closely at the intersections of the postpartum window, the Ayurvedic perspective on health and healing, and the universal mother principles that are the keys to giving and receiving effective care. Hello, I'm Christine Devlin Eck. I'll be taking you through interviews with professionals who are making a profound difference in the lives of their clients, conversations with individuals brave enough to share their stories of vulnerability as a way to lift up others, and my own journey through birth, parenting, caregiving, and building a conscious business. We are here to honor the sacred windows, the profound transitions in life that give it all meaning. Welcome to the conversation.
And I will never be the same again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sacred Window podcast. I'm so excited to be in this conversation today where we're going to be talking about what to eat after birth, looking at two traditions, sort of a more Western understanding and how that complements and works together with our Ayurvedic understanding of nutrition. My guest today is Cherie Calbom. Cherie is celebrated worldwide as the Juice Lady and is a trailblazer in whole food nutrition and the juicing revolution. She has a Master of Science degree in nutrition and a passion for transforming health through fresh, vibrant foods. She's authored 36 books that have collectively sold over 3.5 million copies. Amazing, Cherie. Her global bestseller, Juicing for Life Alone, has empowered 2 million readers to reclaim vitality. And she has a new one. It's called The Truth About Seed Oils, exposes how the heart healthy myth has made us sick and how to heal with real fats. She has served as George Foreman's nutritionist. She has advised the royal family of the UAE, and her influence spans continents. But she has a personal draw from where her work has stemmed after losing her mother to breast cancer as a little girl. She's devoted her life to empowering others to prevent disease and reclaim health. So, Cherie, you have been doing this for some time and have really become a trusted resource on helping people to feel better. I think we can, come to a place of maybe starting this conversation and recognizing that our general understanding of how we eat on a daily basis, from what's available, from what's, mostly at restaurants and grocery stores, it's very confusing for
Hmm.
people to eat. It's like what's
Yes,
good and what's not. Let's just start with that.
it is so confusing, and lots of people have questions. We can make it simple, though. My degree is whole foods nutrition, and if we stick with whole foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, especially the ancient grains, legumes, beans, lentils, split peas, if you're not vegan, healthy, clean protein without antibiotics and grass fed or naturally grown on organic food. So, and fresh water and purified water, we're in pretty good shape. And then we can supplement, with herbs and spices and maybe other supplements. But it gets so confusing for people. But we are bombarded with so much that isn't whole. Processed, refined, junk food, food with additives, chemicals, colors, and then seed oils. That's my new book. The highly refined, they call them vegetable oils, but there are no vegetables in them, they're seeds. And they're in everything from all your sorts of packaged goods like crackers and chips and even popcorn and sauces and salad dressings and mayonnaise and baked goods. And then we go to restaurants, and that's mostly what they use in most restaurants because it's cheap, and especially the fast food places. So that's where we have to be wise consumers and vote with our dollars and try to avoid as much as we can of all these refined foods, including these refined industrial seed oils.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and I think looking at it from an Ayurvedic lens, we can see like as you started, I love the like making it simple and just thinking about what is fresh, what is pure, what hasn't been added to. And these are the things that are going to be really high in prana, that life force. And,
Yes.
looking at nutrition through this lens, like we want the highest vibrational foods we can have, as that is going to nourish our own life force, our own um, vibration, and therefore be easier for our digestive system to handle. It's quicker to
Absolutely.
digest the foods like that.
Oh, absolutely. So, speaking of digestion, the old maxim was, well, you are what you eat. Now it's you are what you eat and digest, because if it's just moving right through us, we're not going to get all those nutrients we need. So, our digestion is so important, and what calms that digestive system. And we know that we need high fiber. We need lots of fresh, lots of foods where the enzymes aren't destroyed, where the biophotons, those light rays of energy that the plants absorb from the sun, they aren't destroyed. So cooking destroys a lot of that. So either, light, like gentle warming, or I know raw isn't so much Ayurvedic, but it is in one of my things, my go-to recommendations for a lot of people is fresh juice. And or smoothies, because you can get so much nutrition in one glass. It's amazing. So all your vitamins, minerals, enzymes, biophotons, phytonutrients, antioxidants in one glass of juice. And so that has been so helpful for so many people that are not feeling well, or as new moms, your audience, depleted. It's time to replenish. And so that's where food comes in. It's such a big part of replenishing the body and healing it.
It's so true. And I think this is a really beautiful place for us to go a little bit deeper too, because, while there are things that are going to be different about an Ayurvedic approach to eating and a Western understanding of nutrition and whole food nutrition, even, it really comes down to what we just were talking about, which is digestibility. And so, the primary focus in Ayurvedic eating is the digestive fire and how strong that is to be able to process through. And for some people, and particularly during the postpartum window where our Agni, our digestive fire, is so diminished, we're working to gradually build that back up. And that's where, warm, broths or soups or slow cooked, softer foods that are naturally going to be easier and help to warm the body on a cellular level. Um, and, there are certain people and certain places, like you're in Arizona right now, where, what I would feed a postpartum in Arizona right now is a little different than what I'm
Mm,
going to feed a postpartum person up here in Massachusetts. So we're always looking at the person's constitution, what is their state of Agni, their digestive fire, and what is appropriate for them. So one person may be able to move to those, you know, juices and smoothies that are a little cooler quicker than
yeah.
another person. But it really comes down to that gut health and that ability to process through what we're bringing in and have it be available to the body as nutrition. And yeah, I'm just curious if, you have any ideas. So when we work with doulas and care providers, and we're teaching them to make nourishing meals for postpartum people. We're really focused on warmth. And so I'm
Mm.
just curious, is there a way to maybe warm up, whether it's like room temperature juices or smoothies that are maybe a little warm? What's your
Mhm.
thought on that?
Well, absolutely. I agree with you. And there are people that do need warm. And so, yes. You can warm the juices. And I've had people do that that have told me they really needed that. And when we get in touch with our body, it will definitely tell us what we need. It'll talk to us. The healthier we get, the more it'll talk. So I'm thinking about this last winter for Arizona. Winter is very different from you in Massachusetts. You know, it's cold if it's in the 50s. People are putting on a jacket. But we had our juice and health wellness retreat in January. And with each day, I provided all the food. We had gently warmed soups, healing soups. And my chef, who catered it, was pretty much following an Ayurvedic kind of approach. People loved it. Everybody was saying how good they felt with those soups. And then we had a little salad bar on the side and some dehydrated seed crackers. Boy, that was a great meal for everybody. Everybody was commenting and they just loved the soups. So, gently warmed soups. And then, yes, you can bring this, at least the juice, more to room temperature. You don't have to have it chilled. And the same with smoothies. If you have a Vitamix, I know if you leave that Vitamix on just a little extra time, it'll start warming it up just a little bit. So you may find that you need to do that. But yes, here in Arizona, it's starting to heat up. So lots of people are appreciating cooler things like the cooler juices and the smoothies right now. So I'm glad you brought it up. We're all so different. Each person is different.
And what I think is so cool is that, regardless of sort of the nutritional background, I think there are these foundational areas of connection. And what you said a couple minutes ago about, you know, your body will tell you what it needs. And this is something that's been on my mind recently as, I think for many people, life is so fast paced and hectic. And particularly when it comes to taking the time to nourish ourselves, I'm like a really busy mom right now with so many things happening in my kids' lives. And I find it to be a huge challenge to go slow with eating and also to take that time to really listen to what my body is telling me through how I feel, through sort of self-correcting. If, like, I had to eat really late one day and then that's impacting my digestion for the next day. I think that there is something about slowing down and being able to take the guidance that our body is offering to us to identify what that guidance is. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that slowing down. Like, what are we listening to when
Yeah.
our body is telling us something?
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because so many people are eating on the run, right? Busy families and they're going through a drive-through and they've got bags and they're eating as they drive. It's just crazy, and that is so hard on the body. So yes, I am such a proponent of slowing down. If you can take 30 minutes, 20 minutes even, but just slow down, take a breath. Uh, People used to bless their food right before they ate. They took a breath, they blessed their food, they ate as a family around a table. In some households, that's just almost a foreign language. Like, what is that, right? Who does that anymore? But that is so good for our digestive systems. And chewing. I'm a big chewer, so I chew my probably 20 or 30 times. They say really, really chew your food. But that is so important because digestion begins in the mouth. It begins with the enzymes in our mouth. And then as we swallow, it goes to the stomach and on. Uh, Digestion continues, but it starts in the mouth. But think about how many people are in such a hurry, they don't chew much at all. Take a couple of chews and swallow it. So food is going down much larger pieces, which is very challenging for the digestive tract. And so if we can slow down and chew, 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 and I don't give that up, even when I'm out to dinner with friends, and somebody inevitably asks me something as I'm in my series of chewing, but I don't swallow my food whole. I just continue on and say I need a minute. But it's very, very important. and then getting those nourishing foods that are, like you say, for postpartum women, needing softer things, gently warmed, getting the right fats. So maybe some like steamed rice or rice and vegetables with ghee, oil of butter we know it as, or clarified butter, or coconut oil. Those to me are very nourishing things. And then beans, lentils, or split peas, cook them well, and those are nourishing and easy to digest. Well, for some, others are gas producing, but definitely the ancient grains and the vegetables, and cooking them enough so that they're easy to digest. I just can't agree with you more. Take time, take a breath. And if you can join your family together, that's even better.
Even better. It is the best. I'm always so
Mhm.
grateful when everybody's home and we're eating together. And I think
Yes.
that is such a good reminder about the chewing because I think that naturally gives us the time to also start to notice the qualities of the food that we're eating,
Mm-hmm.
taste it more, savor it more,
Yeah.
appreciate it more. Just go slow. And it's like, maybe the intention is I'm going to kind of pre-digest my food through chewing it really well, but there's
Mhm.
also all these other layers of slowness and appreciation um, and noticing the qualities. And I think when we are able to do that in one area, maybe it's in the pace that we ate the food, I think it becomes easier to continue at that pace, maybe through the next hour or two after the meal, because we've set a pace that feels
Yeah.
nourishing. How are you sharing your gifts and passion for caregiving with others? In a world where education and awareness around the postpartum window is lacking or missing from our modern systems, we have a profound opportunity to shift that paradigm. You may be a few simple offerings away from making a truly impactful difference in the lives of mothers and families in your community. We are here to support your journey in the ways that work best for you. Schedule a conscious care strategy session to meet one on one with me, and let's identify the right next step for you to begin a path of conscious care for new families that fits your life and your needs. Visit www.sacredwindowstudies.com/strategy-session to schedule a time that works best for you. That's www.sacredwindowstudies.com/strategy-session.
Well, and especially at the end of the day, like dinner time, we're setting the pace to start unwinding so we can sleep because sleep is another really important part of health. And if we're just all revved up, and some people are like at their computer and eating, and then, the light from the computer and the eyes and the whole thing keeping you revved up and not winding down. So part of that breathing and chewing and taking that time in the evening, especially, sets you up for a more relaxed evening and better sleep at night, which means you're going to have more energy the next day.
Yes. Yes, yes. And that's a huge part of postpartum healing. But I would also say just we do a lot. We're really busy people. We're holding on to a lot of responsibility. And to be able to be rested, it's sort of the foundation of being able to digest well, um,
Yes.
hand in hand. Cherie, I would love to kind of open it up to the topic of inflammation. This is, when we look at it through that Ayurvedic lens, we're looking at elevated pitta dosha, that fire element that's sort of looking for its way out. We're burning a little too hot, and this
Hmm.
our lifestyles are very, you know, pitta aggravating in a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways the fire element can go out of balance in our digestion, in our behaviors, in our the pressure we put on ourselves. And in postpartum, I think about new parents who are just really trying to do the best they can, and yet they feel agitated. They feel um, impatient with themselves, impatient with, relationship issues can start from this exacerbated pitta dosha. And in the body, this looks like inflammation that's
Yes.
trying to escape. And depending on where the compromised areas are in our body, it can manifest in lots of different ways, whether it's through the skin or through the joints or through the gut. There's a lot of different ways that we can see this inflammation impacting us. So let's talk a little bit about inflammation and some of the reasons why it's such a common issue.
Yes, I want to mention my book because I have a lot in here on seed oils and inflammation. Oh my goodness, I call it the slow fire within, right? Burning down your house on the inside. Lots of people have chronic low-grade inflammation, and there are so many things that contribute to that. Seed oils, right up there at the top, but sugar, smoking would do that, and all sorts of chemicals in our foods, all the refined foods. So the additives that they put in our foods can also contribute to it. But it's very, very important to get the things out of our diet that are contributing to inflammation. Well, seed oils are known to do that big time. And why is that? They're industrial oils. So I just want to talk about that for a couple of minutes. That when they put the oil, the seeds, excuse me, first through all that processing to make oil, it creates inflammatory byproducts that create oxidative stress in the body. So the seeds go through high temperature heating, first of all, like at about 500 degrees. These very fragile polyunsaturated fatty acids in seeds break down right away with that high heat. There are double bonds in there. It's a little chemical term, but double bonds between the carbons and hydrogens, and they break easily. And when they do, it creates free radicals, carcinogenic byproducts, oxidative stress products, aldehydes, lipid peroxides that go to work in the body and damage it at the cellular level. And so we want to look for those oils in the foods we're buying and not buy them and buy only good oil or fat to cook our foods with. So, what are those? Coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, ghee, which is known also as oil of butter, and sesame seed oil. Those are the good ones. Ditch the rest, they're not good for you. So that's canola, soy, corn, safflower and sunflower, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, peanut oil, cottonseed oil. Those are the inflammatory oils, and they're made inflammatory because of all the processing. So besides the high heat, they put in hexane, a very toxic chemical, to help extract the last little bit of oil out of those seeds. And then they have to have neutralizing, deodorizing agents, bleach agents, so that the oil doesn't come out dark and smelly like it did when they first started creating this oil from cotton seeds. It was used then to lubricate machinery. Just think that's what you're eating, but more refined. So when they get all that odor and color out of there, we get a golden oil that goes into a plastic jar, usually that can sit on the shelf, they say almost indefinitely. That should be a red flag too. And those oils really contribute to inflammation for two reasons. The toxic processing of the oils that create toxic byproducts, but also too much omega-6, because those are the oils rich in linoleic acid, very high in omega-6. We do need that. We need omega-6 fatty acids, but we should be getting them from our whole foods, like whole grains, and avocado, seeds and nuts, things like that. But we're getting way too much because they're pouring these oils into everything we eat practically that's packaged or boxed or eating out in a restaurant. And so we're getting a ratio of about 20 to 1 omega-3 fatty acids. We should have a ratio of about 1 to 1 to 4 to 1, and we're way out of balance. Well, that out of balance ratio also creates inflammation in the body. So, how do we bring balance back? We increase our omega-3 fatty acids and we lower our omega-6 fatty acids. So, we have to be smart, wise shoppers, read labels. And thankfully, There's more coming on the market with good oils. I mean, if you buy bagged popcorn, you can now find it with avocado oil or olive oil. Everybody's gonna eat some chips once in a while, just about, but you can find more of them with avocado oil or olive oil. Um, and salad dressings, olive oil based dressings. How about avocado oil mayonnaise? I'm seeing that more on the shelves today. So I'm encouraged that people are voting with their wallets, people are demanding better choices, but still, we're just bombarded with a lot that isn't a good choice. So we have to be very wise shoppers, choose the right oils to bring home to our pantry, our refrigerator, and then up our omega 3s. And where do we get that? From seeds high in omega 3s, number one, like flaxseed or hemp seed. We also need to increase nuts that are rich in omega 3s, like walnuts. So, walnut oil is good. You don't heat that, but you could pour some on your salad or a little bit into your smoothie. Walnut milk is a great choice. And be aware of plant based milks because not all of them, but many of them have seed oils in them. So you want to be very aware of those as well. And you can make your own plant based milk. It's delicious. And then you know what's in there, just purified water and nuts.
Mm. Yeah, we do have work cut out for us to be really discerning about what it is that we're buying. And that requires us to go slower in our eating and in our choices. I think that it's so heartening to listen to you talk because honestly, everything that we are cooking in our postpartum care retreat kitchen is so aligned with this, and everything that we're, looking at that really helps a postpartum body to heal through our Ayurvedic postpartum cooking module online. It's really simple foods,
Hmm.
really high vibration, fresh foods, and foods that are not manufactured in honestly, like I think we've dug ourselves culturally into a bit of a hole with how we feed our population. And it's exciting and heartening to see that I think as a response to health crises, that there's awareness that is coming to greater light. We do have more choices in stores. And I think, the other piece that I would love to open it up and ask you your thoughts on is you know, I remember when I was first learning about Ayurveda and I got a little stuck on like the rules and it felt a little overwhelming. And I can see that happening for some people now when we're just trying to get by. We're just trying to do the best we can and take care of our kids and like go through life and feed ourselves as well as we can. And sometimes it feels like it's an uphill battle with all these choices. And so there are things that we can do in our lifestyle and in our day-to-day, caring for our mental health and our routines and all of these things that then help our digestive system to operate better, which then give us the flexibility to, you know, if I go out for dinner, I'm going to eat the food and I want to enjoy it. And I don't want to be stressed out that, oh my gosh, there's this thing in here, or feel like I can't go with the flow of what food is being presented to me sometimes when it's not made from my own kitchen. And so for you, how do you compromise and create the ability to live life and be relaxed about how you encounter food that may not be perfect, but how do you create that sort of ease and negotiation in your own life?
I compromise because if you're going to live life and go out with friends and enjoy a restaurant, there isn't much choice. So I'm thinking last week we met friends at a restaurant and it was lovely and we met them for dinner and I knew that it wasn't a seed oil free restaurant, but I'm with friends and there's something about the enjoyment, the joy of going out, whether you're with friends or you're just with your family, but you want to laugh and enjoy and have delicious food. Go ahead. And that's part of your health too, the enjoyment, the feeding of your soul, and then do your very best when you're at home. It's not what we do once in a while, but what we do most of the time that really affects us. But you can find seed oil free restaurants because the week before that, we went with other friends to a restaurant that's 3 minutes from our house. I love it. It's a wonderful Italian restaurant. They bring in their food from Italy, all their ingredients. So it doesn't have the pesticides on things like we do here. And they only use olive oil and they import it from Italy and it's seed oil free. And I found it, and you can get an app and you can get a free trial for that app, the Seed Oil Scout app. And it will give you a little map of all the restaurants around where you live, little green bubbles that don't use seed oils. How cool is that? So you can go out to that restaurant and think, wow, I can order whatever on the menu and really, really enjoy this. So we went with friends who are also trying to be as seed oil free as possible. And we were just totally enjoying that dinner. And so get that app. It's on my landing page, thetruthaboutseedoils.com, and just click on that and you can get the free trial. It also has a scanner, which is going to help make shopping so much easier for you. You just put that little window right on your barcode of what you're looking at, and it'll tell you if there's seed oils in there or what's in there. And oftentimes there are choices on the shelf. You know, one is much better than another. And so we can find the go-tos for our crackers or the go-tos for our chips or things like that that we know we're going to buy from time to time. So how cool is it to have that scanner as well? But I always say, stressing out over food and just feeling like you're in a straitjacket is not going to bring about health and joy to your soul either. So it is from time to time a compromise, but we can do better than we often do. And that means we don't have to get the fried foods. We don't have to get the French fries. We don't have to get fish and chips. We don't have to get fried chicken. We can get items even going through a drive-through that aren't fried. And so there are choices out there. And if you go to a finer restaurant, a nicer restaurant, sit down, you can order things that are baked or grilled. We don't have to get the double whammy of the oils that are once again cooked to high temperature in that restaurant. But more restaurants now are going to seed oil free with oils that have a higher smoke point. So better for the high heat cooking. So again, make your voice heard, vote with your wallets, enjoy your life, and do your best when you're at home, making really healthy food there.
I love that. I love that flexibility and that just honestly, like, let's be real about it. And there's something about joy, yeah, like you said, of being with your friends around a table and joy creates digestibility, stress creates indigestibility. So I love it. Um, Something about really loving and appreciating what we have in front of us, even if it's not perfect. Uh,
Yes. Oh, I
yeah.
wanted to bring up one quick little tip. Like when you're making a snack, don't use the microwave popcorn in the bags that puff up in your microwave oven because that's got really nasty seed oils. Get an air popper if you don't have one. It is so fast and so easy. And then you can just pour a little coconut oil over that and sea salt or ghee or whatever you want to, or avocado oil, whatever you want. And it is so fast and so easy and so much more nutritious. You're not getting all those nasty oils and chemicals in there, that your family doesn't want. You don't want them to have it.
I love that. I love that. And my kids are popcorn eaters for sure. Such an easy switch.
Yeah.
So, Sherry, I wanted to close by kind of bringing it back to this idea of nourishment as so much more than just health. I think there's something in the heart that comes with wanting to help people feel better. And, I know that you lost your mom at a really young age. And, I think sort of the mom is the one who kind of holds us and takes care of us and nourishes us. And I find it really, really beautiful that that is part of your calling for creating access to better nourishment for so many people. And I just wondered if you'd talk a little bit about that purpose piece
Mm.
for you and how nourishment is more than physical health for you.
Oh, so much more. My husband is a psychotherapist, and we were talking yesterday about heart intelligence, nourishing the heart, the soul, and how do we do that? And we, before we went to sleep last night, listened to um, a recording on nourishing the heart and breathing and taking those breaths and focusing on the heart and focusing on a positive emotion and a good memory or a good thought or somebody or something that you love and letting your heart feel that warmth. So, purpose and meaning is so important, and that goes hand in hand with what you just said. This is my purpose. This is why I came to this earth. I know. But each of us have a purpose. There's some reason you're on this earth. Well, I know why you're here. But your audience, each one listening, you have a purpose. And in that purpose, when we find it and we begin to really travel down that road, very focused with heart intelligence, with our emotions and our mind, will, and emotions, all focused on achieving that purpose. Therein is life, nourishment for your soul, spiritual nourishment, so, so important. All of it comes together to create good health. And then when you're on that path, you realize more and more each day, I can't eat that. I would like to, but I can't because it's going to bring the vibration of my body and my mind, my soul down a level. I want to go to a higher level, not a lower level. And I must be healthy and strong. I can't afford to be sick. Because I have work to do, right? We all have work to do. We all are here for a reason. Part of it is nourishing your family and those around you. But then there's a higher purpose. There's the one that we're each on this earth to do. And we must have our health, our strength, our energy, our mental capacity. And so that's where the nutrition comes in. And that's where discipline and willpower come in. There are a lot of times where I say, I'd really like to have some of that. But I know that I can't afford to have some of that because it is going to bring me down one, two, three, maybe four levels. And the next day, I'm not going to feel good. And I might feel crummy for several days or just not the energy that I want. And so that's where we want that high vibration food, real whole foods. And we want everything else coming together. We want to let go of all baggage in our soul, and some of us cling to it, like a flotation piece in the pool, but it brings us down. I had to let go of a lot. My husband teaches three simple things, three questions. Could I let it go? Would I let it go? When? Well, I had to let go of the loss of my mother, and I've had lots of other losses and traumas in my life, and I've had to let them go. But it isn't always easy. And it doesn't always come overnight. Usually it doesn't. When you say when, you might say next week, next month, little at a time. I'll let go of some of it today. That's what I did for many, many things in my life. I let go of some of it today and some of it the next day. And I kept letting go. And then we replace it because we can't have an empty soul, right? If you let go of a toxic emotion, a toxic thought, you must replace it with something, or that's going to come back. It's going to fill the void. And so, what are you going to replace it with? Well, choose something wonderful and good: happiness, joy, love, peace. I mean, your list can go on, but choose a positive emotion and let go of the negative things. And if you let it go little by little, day by day, maybe even year after year, you're going to get to a place one day where you say, I feel whole. My soul feels whole. Finally, I let go of all of this baggage and I embraced joy.
Mm, thank you, Cherie. That was beautiful. I really
Mm.
appreciate this conversation and learning about you and your background and your approach. And um, for those of you listening, please check out the show notes so you can get the links to Cherie's new book and her work. It's really exciting to look at the overlaps of of conscious care, conscious eating. That's what this is all about here. And you're doing beautiful work. Thank you for being here, Cherie.
Thank you so much. You're doing beautiful work as well. And my wish is that each mom, each new mom, will be very blessed by hearing our conversation today and make good choices. So, yes, get my book, The Truth About Seed Oils. There are over 50 recipes in there, charts on smoke point for the oils, which ones are good for high heat cooking and medium or low heat, and the good oils, and the shopping guide, wise shopping, and make wiser choices. I just really encourage you to do that.
We'll all be doing it together, meal by meal, day by day. And thank you, Cherie. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Such a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. You as well.
Shanti, Shanti.
The Center for Sacred Window Studies has been training postpartum care providers, professionals who work with new families, and individuals passionate about postpartum care since 2018. We regularly host live free events alongside our online and in-person training and certification programs. Hop on our newsletter list to get direct access to all of our events and community support gatherings. Our mission is not only in training conscious postpartum care providers, but in fostering a robust, informed, and thriving community of postpartum professionals. Once you step inside, you're family forever. Visit www.sacredwindowstudies.com to add your email to our newsletter list. You can support our work by subscribing to the Sacred Window podcast and sharing with someone you know who would love it. Thanks for being here and participating in the culture-wide shift that recognizes the need for and the importance of conscious postpartum care.